That's certainly, both of these top laners could try to get their hands on that.
Lucian is taken away from Duckdom straight off the bat. So that is gone now, and I imagine that we'll see the Kalista ban here from DAWON. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy call to make against Gumusi. It's been his best laning champion this season. He's been very rarely allowed to play it. So we'll be Faker's Ahri. The Ahri prio has risen so much. Faker took his, or rather, Chovy took his first competitive loss on it last night.
Renata Glask is going to be banned, so not coming out for game 1, and just in general, but also against Kellen. I think on blue side you can afford to ban that out here against DAWON Kia. We'll see if they stick to that ban when they go to red side.
Yeah, I really think the Kalista needs a look. That is the one I think that is kind of non-negotiables. It will be Faker's Galio removed here, so trying to leave a lot open right now as Galio, Camille, and just Galio in general has been how T1 won so many of their regular season matches, especially in round 1. But it's not considered to be as strong of a pick right now, despite some buffs and Night Harvester coming back on the champ. As T1 banning the Kalista here shows they don't have that much interest in the pick and are not fishing for a first pick there. It might be, you know, saying, okay, well, now we're going to take a Draven and you have no answer. But I think DAWON Kia will be wise to ban that one away. Where that leaves open the Yuumi and a lot of other champions.
Yeah.
So
Sivir, Zeri, just a lot of power in the bottom lane. So DAWON Kia says we are going to get one of those.
Yeah.
But not the Yuumi. So that's a big issue right off the bat.
This is DAWON Kia also taking away one of the best counters to the Zeri. So if DAWON are not planning on picking this right now, I think this Nautilus ban was a mistake because you have the ability now to as T1 say, yeah, you'll play Zeri into a Yuumi lane. We have a lot of different options like Sivir, which you also left open. So we don't need to take the Zeri if you take it right here. And now you have no answer if you leave it up. I mean, not no answer, but the best answer in terms of lockdown, point and click is taken off the board. DAWON Kia will prioritize Renekton for Birdall, and we'll see what they do end up grabbing here. I think the best option is honestly to take Sivir here. You try to pick away the Zeri, feels very weak into this Yuumi pick.
Huh. Feels like DAWON Kia are taking some notes from Live Sandbox yesterday. We saw this exact response, actually, to the Yuumi. It was Renekton Wukong. And that left Sivir available, and it made Sivir Yuumi come out and absolutely dunk. I expect nothing less from T1. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't go for this. Even if DAWON Kia picked the Zeri, you're totally fine. Sivir's really good into her anyway, plus Yuumi. You also get Azir for Faker? Like, I understand that Renekton is insanely strong right now on the top side. Also, Wukong is a great jungler. But the priority on the top side of the map and giving over so many huge picks here for T1 is confusing.
Yeah, it's certainly a bit of a head scratcher in terms of what they could have done. Now, the Taliyah pick here is a Showmaker exclusive and can be quite strong in the laning phase and works extremely well with both Wukong and Renekton. So if Taliyah has the opportunity to get prio and go topside, can set up some nice ganks there, she is going to be very omnipresent on the map. So the composition that DAWON Kia has is very strong, but T1's I think is stronger, is more meta, and has a little bit more control of prio for early objectives, which is so critical right now at this juncture. We're seeing the Gwen banned almost every time the Renekton is prioritized, and that will be no exception here. We have one of these soft counters to the Sivir, the Alistair, is taken from Kellen, so no shockers here. And right now, the big question becomes, what is Duckdom playing? I think that's really the one thing we cannot, at this moment in time, solve. And if it's going to be Neela into Sivir Yuumi, I'm not happy about it. I don't think that's what it's going to be, but I'm not happy about it if it is.
I think Neela and also Duckdom special, Aphelios, are both not good into what T1 has right now.
Yeah, Aphelios is going to really struggle with his lack of range and the amount of poke that Sivir can put off even with her boomerang. But it might be even just wise to ban it here. Just say, well, you can't even play it anyways. They'll ban Neela. And Neela is going to have an experience lead in the lane, as the reaction from Duckdom here looks a little bit to like he kind of expected this.
Sounds like, well, it looks like he said Aphelios, or maybe he said Senna.
I like how you just tried to read the lips.
Yeah, that's what I do now. It's my thing. I'm like, oh, looks like he said Aphelios.
Well,
so the
Senna.
S, so Senna, I guess. But this is definitely leading into a Tahm Kench. Doesn't have to be. Could also get some crazy flexes where we even see Wukong go bot and Talia in the jungle. I don't think it's going to happen, but
I don't think so either.
It's an option if they feel like it.
Tahm Kench into, Yuumi Sivir doesn't feel great, to be honest. I think this is potentially a Seraphine angle. But I think that the problem with that is you don't have a ton of AD in your composition. They have Ornn now. They can itemize very magic resistant here. And, I mean, just taking a somewhat tanky jungle here for Owner. Trundle, he fits the bill just fine. Poppy also works, and you can control that bottom dive as well. Like, Wukong isn't going to be able to win the early jungle. So, if it's Seraphine here for trying to control the waves and trying to deal with the bottom prio pressure, I like it more than the Tahm Kench. Oh, he's going to pull out carry his champ here and play the Yasuo.
I think that's a good enough. Oh, maybe it'll be Kellen playing the Senna.
Looks like it. Looks like it.
Which, your AD carry on a more mechanically intensive champion, that does make sense. But yeah, if you're going to go down this line, I think it's much better to go for something like this than the Tahm Kench.
So the Tahm Kench, I think, is very bad because Sivir Yuumi will just constantly poke it out with Ricochet, with Q, and with Prowling Projectile. So that's just to make it clear to everyone why we don't like the Tahm Kench, even though it's very common with the Senna and works really well in the side lane, etc. It can be very tanky and annoying. The Yasuo has Wind Wall into those projectiles, so it will be very nice, and then they could try to aggressively trade up with the heals that Senna is going to give. Plus, Yasuo's just early game damage is kind of bonkers, and he is going to be very strong in early to mid-game fights.
What is that?
I don't know.
I thought that was a mustache, but I think it's his lips.
I don't want to know.
Looking good.
But the composition of T1 is definitely going to be, I think, the more well-rounded one here, is going to have a lot of early control. And if that bottom 2v2 goes wrong for any reason, the game basically ends there because there is no backup plan. There is no late-game damage that's going to come through from the Senna if she falls behind, and her range and her sustain won't matter. So T1, I think, definitely had a better draft, but DAWON Kia throwing us a curveball, something we expected to see a little bit more against KT Rolster, but we're going to see it tonight in the very first game here on Red Side. If they can win game one with this draft and pull it off, gives them such a nice edge here in terms of side selection going into the rest of the best of 5.
Yeah. Really comfortable draft from T1. I think that DAWON are the ones taking the risks here, and we'll see if it pays off. Could get them started in a good manner, but we'll have to see. First, game number 1. All right, here we go into our final round 2 match, which is basically the final match before we do get into the finals of summer here for the Uribank LCK Summer Playoffs. It's a good time to be a League of Legends fan. There are playoffs happening all around the world, especially for you guys who watch the LCK. We've had some really entertaining matches, just really back and forth, some unexpected stuff.
Yeah.
Even DAWON Kia coming up here, a lot of people voting for KT. Did not happen.
That's true. Yeah, I think it was a pretty big upset. I was pretty clear about how I thought about it. That's how I thought that series was going to go. It did not go the way I expected it, and we were all kind of a little bit shocked, except Cloud Templar, I guess.
Well, he read the script. I mean, if you're going to get it that perfect against the grain in an upset like that.
Well, so I think this lane, if it ends up being Duckdom and Kellen end up getting a nice lead down here, if they could find a pick, or Duckdom has a really nice knock-up, they get a good trade, and becomes self-sufficient, then the top lane becomes a focal point for Canyon, and he can, of course, try to gank assist for Birdall. The Renekton can get ahead, and then Talia can kind of bounce between both bottom side and top side here because of her ultimate, because of her passive, where she can rotate very quickly, and she's going to aim to get prio against Faker once she gets a few levels and gets her tier, so she has enough mana to actually continually trade. So that's the theory behind this composition for DAWON Kia. And then later on, you're going to have strong engage with Talia Yasuo plus, you know, Cyclone, etc. And you're going to have the sustain and the range to back it up. Now, this only works if DAWON Kia can get through the early game without a hitch here. Any errors, any mistakes, any picks, this lane falls too far behind, and this comp falls on its face with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you're asking for. Is level 3 gank already. Bertle's going to mess up the flash, and that will be first blood going over to Owner. Already here goes for the fast level 3 and visits the top lane right away.
Second Renekton fail flash we've seen in that exact spot of the map here. We saw it yesterday, unfortunately, from Dove. Bertle will join the club. And it was a top side start for Canyon, but he just did not expect that there would be a jungle visit at this stage of the time from Owner. Level 3 gank comes in against a Renekton, extremely powerful. As he is so reliant on that flash, he does miss. And Zeus will grab an extra assist here early. Renekton going to be pushed out of the lane, loses teleport early, and now is flashless. No flashes expended on the top side of the map for T1. And this is the opposite of the start that you were wanting. And if you're DAWON Kia, this is just disastrous, unfortunately.
Yeah. We'll take another look. Note that Owner gets up here as soon as he possibly can with level 3.
And he's just coming over here to ward and fails the flash. Would have forced a flash from Owner. At the very least, they were going to get that kill. But he misses it. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that does happen, but it's the risk you run, right? And Ornn was available. We saw the two bans in the second phase were Gwen and Vi, which, you know, strong bans, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of answers for Owner, or rather for Zeus to pick. And that's why I was kind of saying, you know, for T1, it's a very comfortable draft. You're not really denying anything. You're giving them comfort picks as well. You're giving them super high tier picks. They have a fantastic team composition that can scale insanely, has so much protection for the Sivir, for the Azir.
Yeah.
So it is a massive risk that DK are playing with, and if their top lane Renekton that they first picked is getting behind, you're going to feel terrible.
Yeah, it's not a great start, but the Talia lane is going pretty well so far. We had the stats there for Showmaker. He's 4 of the 5 wins in this matchup, where it's 5-1 in favor of Talia. We've seen, you know, players like Fate pull this one off as well. So less common pick here in the later parts of the season, despite being almost permabanned, as the trading does begin down here. Obviously, roots and chips that Duckdom get are going to be very valuable with the healing coming through from the Senna in a lot of matchups, but into the Yuumi, you know, she's healing right back. So here we go. Trundle rotates over. Don't think they can dive this.
Yeah, I mean, if they forced it,
well,
they get a big wave going, but the wave has been cleared a bit. Obviously, Yasuo doesn't have much wave clear. And take a look at where Canyon is. Very nice show by the observers. Nowhere near this, as the dive is coming on in. A bit slow on this one. Owner just showing. Maybe opening up some space for Guma to take a plate, but not even going to get that.
This gank is still successful in that it denies a little bit of CS and gives this push basically permanent power. Like it was about to fade away, then Duckdom and Kellen could trade back. Now with this trade coming through the way it did, they can't actually, and they're kind of still stuck here. They're trying to force it, as you can see, but unfortunately will not be able to get back control. And the wave will be allowing this free back for Guma Keria. And like this attempt from Owner could have been successful in terms of setting up a kill, but I think it's still successful, as mentioned before, because it gives them the faster back timing. So this lane is just going to continue to have prio. Level 6 first for Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get it 100% up here as Zeus is still going in. He's got full health, and he doesn't have to kill him. It can just be a harass ult, a zoning ult. He hits level 6 first due to just getting more of the creeps, and of course the kill, as now it's going to be he that is looking to even potentially chip away at some plates. Generally, it's the Renekton that just ignores the Ornn and gets plates himself, but not this time.
Bertle gets a stun here nicely. We'll get one extra turret shot onto the Ornn to trade back a little bit here, but prio is pretty permanent right now for T1. At 75 seconds before the Drake, Owner, even with this topside control, could start taking away this buff, and they can hover around there. And DAWON Kia losing a little bit of control over mid right now, too, is really rough for Showmaker, because at this moment in time, you're like, okay, are they doing Drake? Oh, we identified they're not going to be able to take that one away, so they know the Trundle isn't there. They can ward this. There isn't much power elsewhere on the map, as Kellen only level 4.
Okay, going in for the play, going to force the flash out of Showmaker. That is a pretty standard one that we see many times with Azir into immobile mid carries. And it will be no difference here for the Taliyah, although he does have Unsealed Spellbook at least.
Yeah, and Taliyah also in this position knows that Trundle is not on Drake because they were able to go identify that and ward it. So there's only one place he can be, which is very likely coming towards the mid lane for a gank. So knows that even if he gets hit by the Emperor's Divide, there's follow-up coming. Otherwise, could have maybe rode that one out a little bit longer. Canyon going to try to come over here and take away blue buff. That was warded. So at least he's going to get this back in terms of money here in the jungle. And will be very impactful on this upcoming Rift Herald fight with his level 6. Subjugate still going to be strong here, but in terms of overall team fighting, pretty amazing for DAWON Kia if they can get set up prio. As the bottom side of the map here is really just about a wombo setup here on the fight. So everything has to go right for DAWON Kia if they take a straight up 5v5. But they're now trying to, as they have these levels online here, pin down the Yuumi Sivir. You see the lane starts to eventually get back as these souls come through for Kellen. And this is the turn that you normally see with the Senna lane, where in the beginning it looks really rough versus the wave clear, but you do start to heal through and have that extra poke.
We're going to potentially have a 3v3 here. We have Senna not on 6, so that won't be able to help here. As in we go, the Ornhorn is going to be pulled, flashed on in, but it doesn't get much on a Showmaker, but a 3-man follow-up knockup could be enough. Zeus gets incredibly low, but he will survive as Owner now looking to bite the dust, but will not go down just yet. Duck Dom's roam up from the bottom side. He's going to get here first, and he will be able to secure a kill for his team as Guma, with the cat on the book on his back, does look to extend, but can't do much at this point in time.
So DAWON Kia trade back here, grab the Rift Herald. We saw the potential of this Wombo in the team fight from them, but it was really Zeus who controlled the fight with an excellent Wombo, or knockup. I keep saying Wombo. Not every in CC is a Wombo, but he countered the Wombo of the Cyclone coming through, the Seismic Shove angle for Showmaker. Fortunately, without Yasuo there isn't enough follow-up here to win the fight decisively. Let's look at Showmaker's setup here. The Ornhorn is so massive to help lock Showmaker down here. Then he gets the follow-up knockup, and Zeus gets out of here alive. I mean,
Owner nearly dies twice.
Yeah.
He gets a Triumph proc, I think. He also has Subjugate, and then he smites the Rift Herald for the kill, but also to live. And the fact that he lives for so long is also insanely big.
Yeah, he did so much there. It cost him the Rift Herald that he had to smite like that, but worth it, I think.
Bit of a bait up here on the top side. No Dominus for Birdall, as I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble, as he does have a second dash, but there's the knockup straight into the pillar, and Senna's like, I'm helping, but actually not going to amount to anything. Very nicely baited by Zeus. No Dominus for Birdall makes it an insanely easy kill.
Really easy, and the Wukong in this early part of the game isn't going to be able to compete here. He isn't nearby. I mean, Birdall, he's too far up in the lane. He's trying to do Renekton things. He's trying to trade aggressively. Canyon's coming up over here for the defense, but is immediately spotted. He's getting knocked up.
Yeah, I mean, he's also going to be just chunked down to below half health, even subjugated on the backside of that. Didn't necessarily have to do that, but he's going for a bit of harass, I suppose, or just in case they do decide to hard commit.
Yeah, I mean, Birdall is forced to teleport, otherwise he might actually die there and might have wanted to walk back, does teleport through. And with no real objective fight coming up here for DAWON Kia, I mean, yes, the Drake is up, but like, I don't think it's that bad to subjugate there to get a little bit more control of top side. He's got the TP to come hold this wave. Rift Herald, no other resources committed here to stop this.
This is going to get a charge. Should just be 2 plates. You see that Birdall is able to walk in. We saw Showmaker also leaning topside, but does not elect to try to make any dive or anything happen. No reason to really do that right now. Still just get the 2 plates and back away.
Showmaker here is, you know, so far in this game, not getting control of the lane, I think, like he would have hoped to. So this time, Canyon sets the trap.
Yeah, he's spotted very late, and Canyon doesn't have much tankiness, but he's knocked up right at the last moment as the knockup comes in here to Canyon. Zeus still alive, and they're actually still on the chase, and Birdall will be able to swipe away, even though the fans were already cheering for Zeus living.
Yeah, not this time, unfortunately, but he played it as perfectly as he could have there. Knockout comes through. He's very tanky, very difficult to kill him. Verao will get the slice there in the end to finish him off, and the turret does go over to DAWON Kia. First turret of the game, so a lot of extra money. But this is what you can do cross map. Or try to do.
Yeah, looks like actually T1 are not going to go for this. I mean, it's, you know, they have very defensive summoners when it comes down to it. You are going up against the Yasuo, which if he does get a 3-man knockup, you're just going to be CC'd forever. So that's the scary bit there. No need to force it at this point as T1.
Yeah, so a lot of jungle traps topside really paying off for these two teams. Somebody called Maul wrong, and that was his MO here in the LCK before he moved over to the LEC. As this is going to be finally enough control here, DAWON Kia say, of the bottom side to actually start up this first Drake will be a Mountain Drake. A lot of extra resistances for this composition. T1 know about this, but will not be able to stop it. The scry it, it's the sad scryers of, could we steal this? The answer is no, and they back away. And, you know, unfortunately for Zeus here, making impacts on the map, a lot more difficult in this extremely long lane he's in now. You can see he's taken the Wolves at this stage in time. Verao also hiding himself on the map right now, taking Raptors, trying to get any money he can. So a lot of souls are lost here.
Yeah. Just pointing that one out. Kellen has been doing a decent amount of roaming. You'll note that there is a 2-level gap between him and Duckdom, who has been left to solo lane. It is Yasuo after all, and it is support Senna. So totally fine that this does happen. So he can just hang around, get some wards down with the help of his jungle and his mid laner.
Yeah, once he gets his Umbroglaive, that's when he's going to make a really big impact on the map too. And that's, you know, the kind of control we were talking about DAWON Kia would like to have in the mid game with this composition, so that he has the freedom to do that, make it very difficult for ward clear for T1, because they're running Yuumi. So she's not on her own able to clear wards. Trundle can very safely, but still, it's very frustrating because you only have one good clearer.
Showmaker looks like he was backing on a ward, and he is just donezo. Not even going to elect a flash, although he does Ghost, which has a lot shorter of a cooldown, but it's still a free kill here to Faker, Carry Out, and Donor. As they all pile on, and it could be even more as Kellen here. Not going to be spotted, but a little bit of a zoning ult as they're just going to take mid-turret at 15 minutes into the game.
They're just like, yeah, I'll take that, thank you. One small error from Showmaker, and T1 are going to get a huge trade back of money. Big control of the map, which with Sundisk is massive, because this means you can hold the wave as Azir. We've talked about this a lot recently, where it's been a very common strategy is put Sundisk up in mid and also in bottom lane to control the bottom objective and get that extra prio. They'll use it this time to just take a free Herald. And, well, could have used it to set up for this Herald. It will be DAWON Kia who starts it first, but they can come over and contest. And DAWON Kia, to get this choke point controlled.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they should be able to get this objective, but you see that T1 are looking to fight here. Crown finish for Faker. Knockup not going to hit anyone as the wall will come in, and Guma's like, yeah, you want to go, buddy? I'll take you down. But this does mean that Guma's not in the rest of the fight, as Showmaker is going to die, and the rest of the team of DAWON Kia is on the run, as Duckdom will get that knockup, does not even bother to last breath, as everybody's just being chased down here by the Trundle, by the Ornn, by the Azir, as they are going to get this kill onto Zeus, but Owner is basically a raid boss at this point in time, and Gumayusi is just solo farming.
Yeah, Guma's like, yeah, you guys can have fun up there on the top side. We'll take the 2-for-1 trade, and I'm going to get some damage to this inner turret, take the extra farm. And, you know, DAWON Kia, this is a pretty risky call to go for the Herald here, considering the amount of control T1 had on the map and how this composition works with Call the Forge God, Emperor's Divide, and Sivir with a Kraken Slayer at this stage of the game versus, yeah, Yasuo, he can fight, he can skirmish well, but the setup has to be perfect, and if you're turning as DAWON Kia's comp, you're really weak. And they get a trade back kill because of that turret topside and a little bit of a, you know, error there in how they set that up with the Cyclone trade back. And we're going to go back to...
Baited by the scanner.
Yeah.
Kellen just barely missed that brush, and he, like, kind of sidled over to catch a little bit of it, but did not spot the ward.
Which leads to that mid-turret going down, and then notice DAWON Kia try to turn this with their composition. Showmaker's on the edge, but has to come into this fight so late. By this time, Verao is down at half. They turn on to Canyon, who has to get over the wall, and control is given to T1. They do, of course, get the Herald. And Guma flashes on him for the kill. Things go a little bit awry here on the top side of the map with this turret. Cyclone is good from Canyon, but still, T1 getting everything they wanted out of this. They come over, get the back timing, and win a fight. get control of mid, push Showmaker out. And, I mean, they have ultimate control all over the map now.
Yeah, it's, you know, you look at the golds and you say, hey, I mean, DAWON is not that far behind. This feels like it is a stomp, okay? Like, every single fight is going in favor of T1, it feels. DAWON did get the one Mountain Drake, which is nice, but you don't have any traditional tanks on your team, so nobody's going to be getting, like, huge percentage gains. It's definitely good, but it doesn't feel like much compared to the 2-0 and 2 Azir, who had a pretty free lane, the 1-0 Sivir, who had a pretty free lane, and all of the gold that is going into these carries with the scaling composition.
Canyon's hiding, but I don't know if he wants to go in.
Yeah, okay. Duck Dom is like, maybe I do a little bit of damage to this Horn. As, in fact, with the last breath, it should be enough. The armor will be penetrated there, and Duck Dom is able to find a follow-up kill.
All right, well, now T1, they go very far down the lane without hard committing, without that information about where Canyon is, and then they kind of half commit. Half the team realizes, okay, we can't push this. The other part is too far forward. Now they have Cryo on this Drake. DAWON should be able to wrestle away. TP coming through from Birdall, and here's the flank angle.
Yeah, they try to push away the Renekton here. Renekton, no flash, no Dominus, and a very nice wall is put up here. So on the hunt towards the Renekton, who again does not have any flash and will just be rooted and most likely just killed. And fed to one of the carries, it will be Gumayusi. So now we've got a 2-0 Sivir. And DAWON did pick up the second Drake. Those are really nice now, but
so what I love about T1 in these situations is they overextend, they lose somebody, they can't win Drake fight, but they're like, I know where the Renekton is, we can kill him, and then instantly go top and push the turret.
Yeah.
This is how you lose a Drake. This is how you lose a Drake.
You watching Live Sandbox?
And I just love it. A lot of other teams are like, no, we have to force a fight here, or, oh, we got to try to zone them. Even with the Talia wall up, we've got to go in. T1 are extremely decisive. They get that pick on the Renekton. They push top turret, and now they're going to force a fight here.
Yeah, they have so much map control right now. They're looking for Canyon, but this plant exists in the game, so he will be able to get away. The wind wall, very nice, by the way, into the Ornn, as you can see. I
love the subtle shade on the plants, always.
Yeah, I'm just not a big plant fan. I don't think they add too much to the game, but maybe that's just me. It is going to allow Canyon to get out without using his flash.
Yeah. DAWON losing control of the top part of the map there momentarily. Birdall with no vision around Baron right now, outside of the, you know, small amount of vision he has with his minion wave, is not really able to push anything more here or side lane at all. They have no vision whatsoever of T1. And the vision they had around the Drake they took is residual but useless, you know, at this point in time for their Renekton top side. This allows Ornn to push freely here bottom side, because Renekton showed, so he can just delete all of these minions. And for DAWON getting from their base to the available farm right now with those turrets down, well, the turret down in mid, top side down, and no vision control of top side is really difficult.
Yeah.
So T1 are just kind of saying, yeah, you guys got 2 elemental drakes, but I don't know if it really matters. Those 2 isolated versus the Infernals we're now looking to pick up. It very well may be a soulless game in terms of the drakes here. Is set up this Azir turret, and T1 are just like, I won't get caught, I will not overextend, and I will deny you from getting CS. They can push for the inner if anyone goes bottom to save that bottom turret, and
Birdall can't even do it. Like, he is sitting in his own jungle, doesn't know if he's really on vision. He did scan a bit, so he's like, oh, well, I can't go bot. I might look mid with my team for a play, but we can't really engage in that Sun Disc from behind.
If Birdall goes bottom, T1 collapse on him, kill the turret, then kill the inner turret bottom, and are like, thanks. Thanks for trying to defend your turret. As a result, DAWON's options are so limited here, and the Sun Disc turret means they can't even get mid-prio. That's one of the other reasons why Azir is so strong, especially when he's this fed.
He's going to be looking for a little bit of a play here. Kellen not in the best spot, has to heal and go on the run. As the rocks will be put on the ground to deny any follow-up dashes, but FAKER is getting in there with his extremely defensive itemization. He can just do this. He is not scared at all. He has Crown and Zhonya's. So, like, imagine trying to take him down right now as they're trying to get on top of Guma, who has isolated himself. And he will be flashed on and maybe killed. He's very fast with that ghost, and he will be able to get away. As the follow-up here onto Birdall, who now does not have flash or the Dominus. He will be taken down into pillars, and the follow-up will come in from the side of T1. Big last breath, though, trying to turn this one around. Zeus is going to get low, but he's just too tanky. They don't quite have the damage to make it through him, as Showmaker will finally be able to. But the Yuumi still here, still healing through all of this damage. And it wasn't a clean fight, but it is going to be T1s in the end, as 3 of them will live. A triple kill for Owner, who now has 7 kills on Trundle as they push and will take the Baron.
And there's your plant as well, the other one. That's going to give them enough healing here to feel they could take this Baron down, and I think they absolutely can with the Yuumi.
Oh, okay.
Well,
teleport, you know, Bertle is alive and he's teleporting in, so.
All right, fair enough.
Take the fight and leave.
This fight for DAWON Kia is one of the best I think they're going to get for the rest of this game. Like, Guma goes down to low, so T1 then have to fight basically completely 4v5 for most of this, and they get a good Wild Breath, and T1 is split off by the Weaver's Wall. And yet still Zeus turns on Bertle, they get the pick here, and then the nice last breath that comes through, you see it comes in, but then FAKER stopwatches. There's not enough damage. Zeus gets another knockoff. Like, this Ornn is a problem, and if your damage is going onto the Ornn, it's not going on to anybody else, like this extremely tanky Trundle that can't be killed. DAWON Kia are so far behind, and they don't have a true 80 carry, so wombo combos or no, T1 could just buy enough time with Crown, stopwatch on the Azir. FAKER dies, but he does so much damage that when Guma comes through, it's easy cleanup.
Yeah. Well, DK, they're going to make a stand here on this Infernal Drake. I think it's kind of taking T1 by surprise. You see that Zeus has to go for a bit of an awkward teleport over to his team, but now they're grouped up as 5. And they have it in a good spot here. Canyon's looking for that epic flank, but he's spotted. So they know exactly where he is. Consistently pinged here. Owner's right on top of the Drake. Just waiting for that steal. Subjugate comes in. Canyon has to hop out of the pit. That is going to be a free Drake here for T1. As FAKER goes a bit deep, but he's totally fine. Again, he's very defensive itemization. Now Kellen is just going to get 100-0 basically on this immobile Senna. Duck Dom gets the last breath here on the FAKER, who does not care at all. Has more armor than Duck Dom can penetrate through. And that might just be the end of the game. We have teleport into mid lane right now at a FAKER, as everybody else on the side of DAWON is being pushed away.
T1 with a great clean fight here. All they needed to do was spot Canyon. They had vision there. They block him out, subjugate him. If he's not there with the Cyclone in the fight, T1 could just front to back it here. No 80 carry in DAWON Kia's roster. A Senna sitting on an Umbral Glaive isn't going to cut it. Wombos or no, knockups and last breaths or no.
They're ending the game. They don't care. They've had enough. They said this game was too easy. Let's just end this one. Zeus gets extremely low, but he will survive. And as long as they just hit the Nexus and try to survive here, as they should be able to, and yes, they will be at exactly 25 minutes. An extremely clean victory here from T1. Outside of that one time that Guma got caught, but then they still won the fight anyway. I think this started from Draft Kingdom into Game Kingdom. T1 came out to play. DK took a risk, and it did not pay.